Welcome back to the next episode on the old wagon build. I did get some stuff done yesterday. I pulled the air conditioning stuff off the firewall. I'll show you that. But man, I was not expecting this giant hole to be here. But that gives us something to do. And then got some rust holes, if you can see. And then the seam, there's just a bunch of gunk. Fell in through that vent up there. And, well, just rusted it out over time. So, I did pick up the floors for it, though. At least the fronts. These are Auto Metal Direct halves. Tell you what, the guy down there at Restoration World, he's a good salesman, because I only wanted the couple floor pan patches and I drove just our normal car down there. I didn't even take the truck, and he ended up selling me half floors, and he wasn't lying when they said if you fold down the back seat they will fit. So a little bit more, but like he was saying, the price difference is only like $50 compared to buying all 4 pieces I needed. So this is gonna be much cleaner. I guess we're gonna go ahead and start cutting some of this rust out and hopefully start patching in some new sheet metal. But first I'm gonna try to get a bunch of this junk out of here. That was just messing around a little bit, so. Got the old air wand out. We're gonna stick it in there and see if I can get a bunch of shit in my eyes. All right, let's see if this thing is gonna work. Ooh. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's gonna work. Well, I'd say that worked pretty well. Trash can idea wasn't too bad, but definitely still got a bunch of junk all over the floor. Oh yeah, some nuts and whatnot. Nice. Totally missed that trash can. That's cool. All right, well, I got the rockers all blown out. How much crap came out of them, man. That's insane. Okay, so I got the area where the brace connects to the inner rocker cut out, cleaned up. I did not buy a new inner rocker for this because most of it's good, and honestly this is just sheet metal with a break in it, so I can make that here with just some basic stuff. So what I do is I take a measurement, so 3 3/4 down, and then I believe this is roughly about an inch on the brake angle piece here. So I'll take that 3 3/4, I'll add an inch, so 4 3/4. I'll probably go ahead and mark my sheet metal at 5 inches. That way, once I cut this and bend it, that way I can trim it to fit. I'd rather it be too long than too short. And I'll show you guys how I do that. This is not a body shop by any means. I got a little homemade brake I use with a vise and some pieces of angle. I do plan on getting a brake because the braces in the back, when I go to make those, because nobody makes them, they're going to be a little more difficult. So I'm going to be on the lookout for a decent sheet metal brake. But I want to get these areas patched up where the braces go into the inner rockers. So I'm hoping tomorrow to run down to Restoration World and pick up the the full brace here and then that corner. And I'd like to get them in and start hitting this thing pretty hard. So now that I'm feeling a little better, my voice is starting to get a little better, but as long as it stays halfway warm and not negative 30 degrees, then we're gonna keep chugging away at this thing. All right, so like I said, I put 2 pieces of angle iron in my vise. I've got my line for my bend on here, and I just put it in here and get it as close to the line as I can get it. Like I said, I've gave myself some room to trim. So I'd rather trim it than be too short. I really just need to break down, get a sheet metal brake, but got car parts to buy. So then I just take this and there we go. Like I said, for just simple stuff, this works perfectly fine. Perfect. Then let's just see if this thing fits in there pretty well. But not too shabby. Like I said, the back though, that's gonna be a pain in the butt when I go to try to make some of these like this. Can't really see it well. I can get some better lights out here, but pretty dang close. Pretty dang close. So I'll trim the sides up. Probably this one over here. It's not really the straightest. I'll get that to fit in there. And then I'll weld the sides up and plug weld through the rocker panel from the outside where I had the drill. Right there. I'll plug weld those. And then I'll just leave the top for when I put the floor in. I'll weld the floor to the top, through the top. And yeah, should work out. Heck, I don't know. I'm not a body guy. I'm just winging it. All right, so it's been a couple days and I got a little bit more work done on this thing. I got both inner rocker spots patched up for the front brace. And I'll go ahead and show you guys. There's the passenger side, turned out pretty good. And then, of course, the driver's side. But I was waiting on some parts. Restoration World ended up getting the rear brace in that I need. So I ran down there and grabbed them. So I got the rear and the front. And I'm debating on just changing the whole thing out in the front or just cutting the ends off and fixing them into what's already there. This I will only be cutting. I really only need about 3 inches of this, honestly. So kind of sucks I had to spend $120 for this whole thing to only use 3 inches of it, but whatever. This one was cheaper for some reason. This one was only like 80 bucks, which looking at them I would have thought it would have been the other way, but it is what it is. I also found a marketplace deal. So it's a 4-foot brake, so no more using the vise and some pieces of angle iron. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I mean, it's an older one, and you know, it's gonna do what I need it to do for now. All right, so I got a game plan now. I actually got the rear brace end in. That's in, welded in, good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and change this front brace ends out. I have to decide what I'm doing here. As you can tell, the inner rocker is no longer there, and then the outer rocker's also pretty much no longer there, but I had some 16 gauge I bent up. I think I'm gonna use 16 gauge because this is, you know, one of the points where I'm gonna have to lift the body up. But I'm thinking this is gonna work. Obviously I have to trim it for height. But yeah, the 16 gauge is pretty thick, so I'm hoping put some spot welds through the top here into the floor, and then brace it into the wheel tubs on this end. And I'm hoping that's going to be strong enough so I can test fit this body on this chassis multiple times. So I'm going to get the engine and trans in it, and then I'm pretty sure the trans is going to hit this trans tunnel, so I'm going to have to, you know, pull the body on and off, I'm sure, a couple times there. And then also I have some spots on the frame for the body mounts I'm going to have to weld in, so want to make sure I get those in the right spots. So anyways, this body's gonna be on and off this chassis a few times, I'm sure. And then along with the rear mounting in the very back, I'm gonna have to build those. So, you know, set the car down, level everything out, and then get my measurements to build those. So yeah, I'm gonna use the 16 gauge back there, and then I also think up here in the very front pinch weld areas, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I took the inner interior panel off, like the footwell area, and it's not rusted up there. It's literally right from this seam down. So I think I'm gonna put 16 gauge from the front, come way back out into over here into some good metal on both sides because they're both bad. And I think that'll take care of this issue. I just want to make sure that it's not as sketchy picking it up as when we took it off the chassis. Because when we took it off the chassis, I was pretty scared. So I got the front cross member out here. Got the body mount nuts in it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these ends off and get them put up in here. And I think then, once that's done, I'm gonna tackle the floors. That way I can go ahead and get the 2 front inner rocker pieces made. All right, I got the front brace ends welded in. I still gotta go through and hit them with the flap disc, knock some of them welds down, but pretty happy with how it turned out. The rear one's done back there also. Before I end this video, I figured I'd show you guys. I got some more parts in. Me and Dad decided to run up to Summit Racing, which is a pretty good drive away from us. They usually have a discount rack, and I was able to find some tubular front control arms for this thing. Usually they're like 400 and some bucks. They had them on that rack for like $200, so that was no brainer. They got sway bar links in them already. Polyurethane bushings, ball joints are already in it, so couldn't really pass that up. And also in the beginning of the video, I showed you how bad this firewall area was, and I'm not keeping the factory air conditioning, and I'm getting rid of the factory heat. I'm probably gonna end up running something like a vintage air heat and defrost kit. I really want this firewall to be smooth and clean. So I hopped on eBay. There's a company on there that makes these firewall panels with some nice bead rolling in it. So I ordered this. This is for the price it was, I couldn't complain. So once the floors are done, I'm going to start in on the firewall, get that all done. But man, I'm really starting to get pumped about this thing. The shop, if anybody's interested in that fire wall piece, is called the Mod Shop Metalworks. There's their sticker. I just want to say thanks for watching this episode on the patina'd wagon build. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for me. I really appreciate it, and hope you guys have a great day. See you next time.